So the question number 1 on your worksheet says, what is the purpose of sketching? I'm going to give you the answer right now, and you're going to type it in your worksheet. So the purpose of sketching, there's a couple of reasons why we sketch. You can think through a design, you can convey your answers, and it just uses lines and symbols to describe your design. So the purpose of sketching is just simply think through your design. You know, you start off with the sketch and you start adding more details to it. You convey your answers, you share your answers with others on just a simple sketch. You're using lines and symbols to describe your design. Okay, so that this is the purpose, some of the reasons, the purpose of sketching. So again, this is the answer to number 1 on activity 142, sketching techniques. So right now you're literally doing 2 things at once. You're listening to me while you're typing in your answers. That's why I want you to have split screen. One is the PowerPoint and the second one's the worksheet. If I go too fast, it's fine. You can catch up later. This PowerPoint you have control of as well. It's in Canvas. I'm also recording it, but I'm not going to put up the recording until later on today, way after the due date time. So be mindful of that. Okay, question number 2 says, what are some common uses of sketching? And the PowerPoint slide says common uses of sketching. So here comes the answer for number 2. So some common uses of sketching include, you can be brainstorming with a group or yourself. You can communicate your ideas via a sketch, and you can document measuring. For example, if we were tasked to do a new amusement park in Orange County, a new Disneyland, for example, we would be sketching out on a piece of paper what that overall amusement park would look like. We can brainstorm our ideas like, oh, I really want a roller coaster on this side and maybe a lake on this other side and some stores here, and maybe we should have the kids zone towards the back. And so we're communicating via the sketch what our ideas are. We also document our measurements. For example, if I want on the roller coaster to have a 50-foot drop or a 100-foot drop, I would document that. I would add that to my sketch. Oh, this first or the last drop in the roller coaster will be a 100-foot drop, for example, or whatever. So those are some common uses of sketching: to brainstorm, communicate, and document your measurements for others. Wow, Jay, that's a lot of commands they just gave us in the chat. We'll check those out in a second. Oh, does that mean close everything and like escape and all? Because they're like messing with people's computers. I wonder if there's a command that just erases like your whole hard drive. That would be mean and evil.
I have no such weaknesses.
Ms. Novelli,
Yes.
go to settings and press factory reset.
I don't know. The word reset just doesn't sound good.
Oh, you see your computer? There's like a window button, like to refresh.
Uh-huh.
And then press the power button. Press those 2 buttons at the same time.
Yeah, I don't want to. How about that? Okay, so question number 3 says, what are the advantages of sketching? Oh my gosh, this slide says the advantages of sketching. Gosh. So the advantages of sketching, it's convenient, inexpensive. You can do it 24/7, right? It's super convenient. You just need a piece of paper, even like the back of a napkin. You can use a napkin, you can use a piece of paper, you can use you use like an envelope. I take a lot of notes on the back of envelopes that arrive home. I do a lot of, grocery store lists, sketching, things like that. It's inexpensive. It's cheap. Anything you find around, even like a simple Post-it, you can do a sketch on a Post-it. So super cheap and convenient. You can do it anywhere. You don't need a computer. All right. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to your engineering notebook. Okay, so grab your engineering notebook and you're going to open up to page 17. See at the bottom it says 17. And we're basically using this as like graph paper. So towards the back of your engineering notebook, like page 81, you'll see isometric paper on page 81. Around page 81, you'll see isometric. And the first part of our engineering notebook just has regular graph paper. So today we're going to be using the regular graph paper. Logan, if the doc doesn't load for you, I would try the right-click, open a new tab, make sure you're on Chrome. What other troubleshooting things can
Okay, it worked.
Oh, of course, because now that you told the teacher, it works.
Yeah.
It's like when, I don't know if you've ever had like Mr. Morris or Mr. UC, and you like the Chromebooks are not working or the laptops are not working, something's not working, and then you call them over, and as soon as they reach your desk, it works. I don't know if that ever happened to you in 6th and 7th grade. It happens to my 8th graders a lot when I was in class. It wouldn't, and then all of a sudden I would go there and it would work. All right. So I'm going to show you what I'm expecting you to do, and then I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Oh no. Here it is. So this is what I'm expecting you to do. You're on page 17, and the title of today's assignment is 142 Sketching Techniques, which is the PowerPoint presentation, the activity, sketching techniques. Okay? We can put the date on the bottom if you want. 10/6/20. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what to do on this page right now. So we're on page 17, and we're going to be using this area right now to take down some notes on some keywords. It's page 17 at the bottom. It says page 17 at the bottom. Page 17 at the bottom. Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about different lines. So the first line is a vertical line. So what I would like you to do is in your engineering notebook, I want you to sketch out a vertical line and label it vertical line. Now I know most of you in this class already know what a vertical line is. So no worries. You're just going to do it. Make me happy. Vertical line. So I literally drew it in my notebook and I labeled it vertical line, as you can see in my notebook. It's okay, kids. Everything's okay. All right. The next one is a horizontal line. So I'm going to sketch out horizontal line. Okay, so we have a vertical and horizontal. And then we have an inclined line, a diagonal basically. In algebra, you'll call this the slope line, okay? So I'm gonna sketch out an inclined line. I'll probably call it a diagonal. Okay, so I have those 3 lines drawn in my notebook. I'm literally doing it also in my notebook just to make sure I know what I've asked you to do. Maybe in the far, far future, I'll be like, oh, can you guys take a picture of page 17 that we did a month ago? And can you turn that in? Oh, okay, awesome, thanks.
Do we write the run and the rise?
If you want to, yeah. That's also an algebra term, run and rise. Rise over run. You'll hear your math teacher saying that in 8th grade, rise over run, if they haven't done so already. Okay, we're good, everybody? Okay, now I usually don't have my students do this. I'm supposed to teach you how to draw a line. Here are the steps, ladies and gentlemen, to draw a line. Step number 1, draw 2 dots. Step number 2, dash. Draw dashed lines in between those 2 dots. Last step into drawing a straight line is to connect those dashed lines and create a straight line. Yay! You all successfully completed the training on how to draw a straight line. Yay! Would you like to know the most difficult way of drawing a circle, of sketching a circle? Let me show you the most difficult way of drawing a circle, which I'm not going to ask you to do. I'm just going to ask you to listen. Sketching a circle. Set up the diameter in a coordinate plane. Square in the diameter to create a square, but even though you're trying to make a circle. Sketch diagonals within that square. Step number 4, identify the triangle centers. So you see the triangles, identify the center of those circles. Then you're going to connect those center circles with arcs. There. And then your last step is to erase everything around it to end up looking like this. The hardest drawn circle in the world. So those are the 5 ridiculous steps to drawing a circle. I used to have my kids do this one. I don't anymore. I don't. All right. Are we okay? Okay. These are the, okay, let's pay attention because this is some of the most important stuff I'll teach you today, if not the most important. Other than orthographic drawings, this is the most importante stuff I'm going to teach you right now. Most important stuff I'll teach you today. And you're going to have an assignment that correlates to this. So perfect. Okay, so there's different types of lines when we sketch, and when we use our 3D modeling software, we're going to be using the same vocabulary words, so make sure we're paying attention. So a construction line, which is this line right here that you can't even see. A construction line is a very light line that we do to sketch. We usually start sketching with a light line, right? If we're going to sketch, we start off with a light line. We don't know which line's going to be permanent, so we just start very, very lightly with our pencil, and these can be easily erased. Those are called construction lines. An object line is a nice dark line. Those are your permanent lines. So an object line is a permanent line that we see when we sketch, and then when we use our 3D programming software, an object line is like what's seen and what actually gets printed. A construction line, if you have construction lines on the 3D software, they don't get printed. Object lines do get printed. A hidden line is dotted dashed lines that represent something that's hidden from the view, hidden from view. So for example, here is my mic. This is the bottom part of my mic that you see on my screen. If I were to sketch this, I would sketch like this, like diamond looking shape, right? Do you know that there's a mic on the other side? Well, right now you don't, other than the fact that I'm telling you that there is. But what you would do is you would be drawing, like if I were to sketch this out right here in the center, I would be drawing a hidden line in a circular, like as a circle with a hidden line. Why? Because the other side of my mic has this thing, you know, the mic, actual part. So in order for you to realize that there's something else behind this that you can't see, we draw hidden lines. It's like it's there, but you don't see it from this back view. If I were to draw it from this view, you can see it. It's right there, like poking at you. Same thing with the glue stick, the one I gave you. At the bottom of your glue stick, there's a hole and it's hollow at the bottom, right? You can see it when you hold it like this. You can see that it's hollow and there's a circle inside. When you hold it from this view and you sketch it from this view, you don't see that it's hollow. You think it's all a perfect cylinder that's completely filled in, right? Because it's completely filled in from this view. But in order for me to tell you that there is a circle cut out down there, I would be using a hidden line to identify that. Okay, a center line is a long dash, short dash, long dash, short dash, long, short, long, short. This is called a center line. It tells you the center of the circle. So if I were to draw a circle on my sketch, I would be using a center line to signify the center of the circle. So for example, if you had an iPhone and you had your camera on the back, or any phone that has a camera on the back, and you were telling the designer how, like, where the center of the circle was, you would be using a center line, I should say, a center line to tell the manufacturer where to place the camera, the round camera, with a center line. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to copy down these types of lines in your engineering notebook. So the first one is a construction line. So I am going to lightly sketch a line very lightly and label that a construction line. All of these words end in line. Construction line. An object line is a nice, dark, solid line. So I'm gonna label that object line. So right now, everybody is drawing this in your engineering notebook. Your hidden line are equal dash lines. They're equal in length. Hidden line. And the last one is called the center line. It's a long dash, short dash, long, short, long. And that's called a center line. So I added that to my engineering notebook right here. Some vocabulary words for the day, and they're right here.
Do you write it?
I know you were not in my math class last year, but the rule is if I write, you write, you write, I write. No, if I write, you write. So that's why we're gonna take some notes. Showed it here. When we start doing the 3D software, I'm gonna be like, oh, is this a construction line? Is it an object line? Hey, turn that line into a construction line. Turn that line into an object line. So you'll see the difference when you're 3D designing. So vocabulary words. I know most of you know what a vertical line is, a horizontal line is, like diagonal. Maybe one or two of you knew what a construction, object, and hidden and center line were. So we're taking notes, everybody. Vertical line, yeah, Jay, that's why we took it down in our notebook. That was the first thing we wrote down, vertical line, because I knew that Jay would not know what a vertical line is.
Wait, what's a line?
Don't make me start this PowerPoint all over again. I will. Don't make me, I will. Don't make me hit the back button.
Would you?
No. I'm recording this, so therefore I'll just send it and you guys can play it over and over and over. It's gonna be great. Okay, so you have that. So let me just review with you. A construction line is this like little light line that you see, you barely see it in the back. I think this is like a clock, an old-fashioned clock. This would be your construction line. Come on, Hannah, stay with us. Your object line is here. It's your permanent darker line. Yes, your object line. Your hidden line is right here. This is your hidden line, example of a hidden line. That means that there's a cutout behind this that we don't see. Maybe where the battery goes in the back. And then your center line is right here. That means probably this is in a circular form, although it looks like a rectangle here. From the other view, it's probably a circle, and you need a center line to describe where the circle is placed. Okay. Wow, Jay, we're doing math now. Awesome. Okay, so this concludes the presentation. Now, your assignment for this lesson is located in 142 Sketching Techniques, which you already have open because you were answering them as I was teaching it. And you've already answered number 1, 2, and 3. Number 4 was done in your engineering notebook. Number 5 was done in your engineering notebook. Number 6 needs to be done on the doc. So you are going to type in, letter A is pointing to this line right there. Letter A, do you guys see it? What would we call letter A? Letter A is an example of what kind of line? A construction, object, hidden, or center line. What do you guys?
Object.
Object. It is actually pointing to the exterior part of the clock, which is an object line right there. Letter A is an object line on the worksheet. Not the same as the PowerPoint. They're different. It's pointing to the outside part, letter A. Now, I know this is kind of light in general, but that object line is way darker than the construction line. So you would type in here, object line, and then continue. Now, some of you have been turning in work that's blank, and I've made a comment. It's a blank document, so make sure that when you do this, you type it in, and then you go back to Canvas and you hit submit. I'm assuming something's happening that you're turning in blank documents. I don't know what's going on, actually. Honestly, I don't know why you're turning in blank documents. All right, so I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to fill in on number 6 on the very last page of 142 Sketching Techniques. I want you to do letters A through G. You can use your notes right here in your engineering notebook. You can also go back to the PowerPoint. How do you go back to the PowerPoint? It's in the Canvas. You have full control of that PowerPoint. You can go back, make it easy, slow it down, repeat.